So now we're going to get started on meal 3. That's our meatloaf with our mashed potatoes and brown gravy and mixed vegetables. So this is going to be very similar to the hamburger steaks and the Swedish meatballs that we did in bin 4. Okay, so we're going to make the same meatloaf base. So I'm going to go over this pretty quickly since we've already done this before. This time I'm using the dried breadcrumbs. I didn't have any bread to make homemade breadcrumbs, so I'm just using the Italian breadcrumbs right now. You can use homemade breadcrumbs, you can buy store-bought breadcrumbs, you can use panko, the Japanese breadcrumbs, or you can use the Italian breadcrumbs you have in your cupboard already. As soon as we get the meatloaf in, we're going to get our potatoes on to boil to get those mashing. When the meatloaf and the mashed potatoes are almost done, we'll put our mixed vegetables on. And if you have any bread that you'd like to serve with this meal, you could go ahead and just toss that in the oven. So let's get working on the meatloaf. Well, this time we're only doing 1.5 pounds of ground beef because this is all for the meatloaf. I went ahead, I got the onion, the celery, the garlic all pureed. I've got our eggs here. I've got our salt, pepper, and Italian seasoning, and I've got the breadcrumbs. So I'm just going to get this all mixed together. So our meatloaf is ready to go in the oven, and we're going to get our mashed potatoes on to boil. And when these are about ready, we'll work on our mixed vegetables and our brown gravy. So our mashed potatoes are almost ready. I put the mixed vegetables on to boil, and I've got our brown gravy going here. I just did a couple packages of instant brown gravy mix. I just mix in the cold water with the brown gravy. And one thing I like to do, I did 2 packages on the brown gravy, so I did 2 cups of water. But after it comes up to boil, I just like to add in a little bit of heavy whipping cream. Anyway, just like 2 tablespoons. Thins it down a little bit, just mellows it out, gives it a little bit of a nice flavor. And that'll be ready to go. All right, so our potatoes are done. They're nice, hot, and steamy. I drained out all the water. Now we're gonna season them up. We wanna put salt and pepper in there. I'm gonna put some butter in. And some of our half and half. If you have a mixer, go ahead and start mixing. You can also use a KitchenAid or just hand smash them. Oh, those are good. All right, you can always give them a taste test before you serve them. Add more butter, salt, pepper, whatever you think they need, if you think they need anything. There is meal 3. Our meatloaf is out of the oven. We're serving it with the skin-on mashed potatoes, mixed vegetables, the brown gravy. And like I said, if you had some dinner rolls or bread that you wanted to serve alongside of that, I believe we have some bread left over from last week's bin, the Italian loaf. Or if you have some dinner rolls, just throw those in if you want to serve some bread with this meal. Meatloaf, mashed potatoes and brown gravy, and mixed vegetables. Meal 3.